What's up, everyone? My name is Matthew Cuban Hernandez. I am a poet, MC, and teaching artist from Los Angeles, California, by way of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm super honored to be able to present a workshop and some poems with y'all today. And hopefully there will be a way that you can share your poems back with me, but I'm very, very honored to be able to guide you in a writing exercise today. So what you'll need is a pen, pencil, notebook, whatever it is that you use to write and feel comfortable with. Go ahead and take a moment and grab that now. Throughout this video, there will be moments where you can pause and do some writing on your own and check back in. And there will also be music playing. So the duration of this video will last about 20 to 30 minutes. And feel free to pause, start, jump in when you feel ready to go. So I'll start with a little something. Poetry to me is a very intimate art form. I've been writing and performing poetry all around the world for many years now. I became a full-time artist back in 2009 and have been writing poetry since I was like 13 years old. So it's been more than half my life wrapped in this art form. And I feel like poetry is an honest art form. My favorite poetry is honesty. So if you're not a poet, if you've never read poetry, that's okay. You just have to be honest. And that's pretty much just all we're looking for today. I often say as well, give yourself permission to write a bad poem. Now, I don't really think any poem's bad. I think if you spend time investing into yourself and writing for yourself and writing with yourself, you got a great piece. But sometimes we have so much pressure on ourselves that we're like, oh, if this isn't perfect, then it's trash. And that's not true. Give yourself permission to write an okay poem. Your favorite writers, I guarantee you, did not write their greatest work the first time they sat and write it. So hope you're ready. Before we get into it, I wanted to share with you maybe one of my poems because I feel like, again, it's an intimate art form and I can't really get to know you if you can't get to know me. So this is a poem that I created with some friends of mine back in Jacksonville, Florida. And I actually really love it, but I'll read you a little bit of it. It goes like this. As long as God is on your team, failure is not an option. Can't pay me enough to change. My integrity is not on auction. This poem don't need inspection. This poem gives new direction. I breathe life into this poem. This poem is the resurrection. See, I just wanted poetry to get some recognition. So we could hear it on the radio or see it on television. I once wanted to be a rapper, and then I had a second vision, and God knew his favorite soldier could handle one extra mission. So I bring this to the crowd like a thunderbound rain. We need to be heard, but this is such an underground thing. See, poets don't got no love. They just hate on their own people. The game is ancient Egypt. The poets are just the Hebrews, and my name is Moses, meaning I'm so focused. I can smell funk on the roses, and I notice promoters is trying to pimp poets like stupid bros, but I am not a crazy poet. I'll be super mo, and I'm riding out of town to do no stupid shows for some free drinks and a little bit of stupid dough. I don't want to be the greatest. I work too hard for the status. I may not be the best, but I definitely am the baddest. I may not get the highest grade on the SAT, but you will never see me around being SAD. See, I remember being a little boy, looking way up at the ceiling, thinking if I could touch it, it'd be a wonderful feeling. Dealing with small problems, why jump when you can fly? Why want to touch the ceiling when I could go for the sky? So I'll reject boundaries, refuse limitations, run a hole through doubters, excuse them when they hating. See, life can beat you down, but I use situations that I lost from to help me conquer new situations. Nowadays, I can see what it takes to win. There's a big gap between where I'm going and where I've been. Plus, I'm fueled by the Almighty and my family and friends. But I ain't brag about me getting through that there. But little homie, if you could do it, you should do that there. That says you couldn't, but you could, and you knew that there. So get everything you can out of life and then some. Success is not measured by material or income. Success is measured by happiness. So at the end of the day, are you comfortable with life and the decisions you made? I say yes. I had to write myself out of that stress. I'm a product of Jimi Hendrix, Tupac, and Edgar A. Guest. I love to live for myself and soul, and I want to be fit for myself to know. And I want to be able, as days go by, always to look myself straight in the eye. I keep trucking. The sky is not a ceiling. The world is not a building. We're building a movement together, waiting for this here to pop. If they close the door on us, we're going to pick the lock. I realize it don't stop. It don't stop because it can't. There are no such things as don't, and we won't believe in ain't it. There are no crystal steps to your dreams. Belief is hard. Just do not leave your guard down. Believe in God. Do your thing, won't he? Spread your wings and fly. Promise that ceiling won't impress you once you've been to the sky as long as God is on your team. Failure is not an option. Can't pay me enough to change. My integrity is not on auction. This poem don't need inspection. This poem gives new direction. I breathe life into this poem. This poem is the resurrection. Thank you. So, pause for applause. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get into some writing. We're going to start by creating some lists. Poems are often created by list. And again, that is a poem that my brother Moses West out in Jacksonville, Florida created, and I was able to jump on and do some writing and do some work with it too. And it's really, really dope. But we're going to create some lists. So I'm going to write in a few lists in the chats, and then we're going to kind of get into it. So go ahead, get on things. And what we're going to do is we're going to write lists of 5. So the first thing I want you to write, right, you're creating lists of 5. And if you're not familiar with how this works, there should be a chat that has popped up, and you should be able to see it. But let's see. Create list of 5. First list you're going to do is 5 things you see out your window. Five things you see out your window. And again, allot yourself maybe about 30 seconds for each one of these to write, and then move on. And you can pause or pick up the video when you feel necessary, but 5 things. The next list. The next list is 5 gifts you've been given. 5 gifts you've been given. Maybe they're physical gifts, or maybe they are emotional gifts, right? My mother gave me a smile. It's better than that when it's genuine. Take a moment to write on that. Again, you can pause the video if necessary. Thank you. My wife made a cameo in the video. Your next list is going to be 5 times you felt important. Your next list is 5 things you wish you said but didn't. And your last list is 5 times you had tears in your eyes. Now again, take about 5 to 10 minutes and expand on these lists and create them as you will. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video. And I will play a song for 1 minute until then. Okay. We're going to jump back into it. At this point, you should have all of your lists completely filled out. Awesome. We're going to use these lists to help create the poem that we're going to write now. So you might have been like, why am I making a list? Because often the poems that we create are all built off different things that we've experienced, and sometimes it's easier to retell those stories if we break them down into lists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a starter line, maybe a couple starter lines that you can actually write from. And what's really, really cool is that these starter lines are meant to just inspire you. So once you start writing them, you can go off in any direction you want. Or you can keep bringing that starter line around as something called a poetic refrain. A poetic refrain is a line that repeats itself. So if you're a fan of great poets like Maya Angelou, love Maya Angelou, you might be familiar with one of her poems called Phenomenal Woman, where that line will repeat itself throughout the poem. Phenomenal woman, me, right? So there's so many beautiful poems that have really cool refrains. And the refrain that you're going to use in your poem is, if you knew me, you would know. And what I want you to do is I want you to try to come up with 10 to 15 lines that come from the list that you created. Now, you can start every line with, if you knew me, you would know. When I look outside my window, I see a tree that is all the leaves have melted off of, right? If you knew me, you would know. You know that I felt important when my aunt gave me that beautiful gift on my birthday that she knew I wanted, but I never told her, right? So you want to add details. The poetry is always in the details, right? And you don't want to be like, if you knew me, you would know I'm chilling. If you knew me, you would know I'll be chilling. If you knew me, you would know I chill. Now, give me details. If you chill, let me know what level of chilling you're on. Like, are you in a bed? You on a hammock? You in like the beautiful, beach? Let us use the visuals. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to write on this. And again, if you lose track of what you're writing, jump in and use the lines and things you created in your list to help you tell that. Hopefully this makes sense. And if it doesn't, just do your best. And again, always be honest and give yourself permission to just create. So I'm going to throw a little bit of music on and give you about 10 minutes. At this point, you can pause the video and play music yourself, or you can keep the music on and kind of keep it going back and forth. But I'll play maybe about 1 minute of music, and then I'll give the rest of the time for you to pause the video and allow yourself a moment to complete your poem. Okay. Excuse me. So, take the last few minutes to finish up what you're working on. And when you're done, congratulate yourself because you just wrote a poem, and it's not an easy thing to do. I want to thank you for this time of allowing me to sit with you and create with you. Normally, we would share with each other, but these are interesting circumstances, and we're not able to do that like we normally would. But what I would love to do is give you an opportunity to follow up with me, send poems through me. You can do that through your teacher or principal by sending them the poem that you created. I would love to see these. I would love to read these. You can also find me on all social media and different platforms and Spotify and things like that under my name, Matthew Cuban. So if you want to stay in touch or would love to reach out and just say, hey, feel free to do that. I would love to read your poems and hear what great things you're creating. So this will conclude our video time together. Thank you so much for joining us. I am going to try to send a couple more and see how that goes. But you should be receiving a book, my book, 3032, which I created dedicated to my mom and dedicated to where I come from and who I am. And so if you do receive this book, which I hope you do, it's free, and it comes with love and joy, but it really comes with an obligation from you, which is that you must tell your story and let the world hear it. So thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Matthew Cuban Hernandez. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to being able to see you in person one day. Have a great one, y'all.